InDesign Chapter 5, we're making a letterfold document. We did this before in Illustrator. Remember, this is mistakenly often called a trifold. It is not a trifold, it is a letterfold. You're going to go to File, New Document. You are creating a print document. Let's change the units right away to inches. You're going to rename the file letterfold. The width of this document is 4 inches. The height is 9. We are deselecting facing pages. We do need one primary text frame, one column. We are going to create margins that are 1/4 of an inch all the way around. We need a bleed all the way around of 1/8 of an inch. We are also going to put in a slug area at the top and the bottom of 1/2 an inch. With nothing on the left and right, and you can then say create. Looking at the file that's created, this should look pretty familiar. We have the single panel, we do have a bleed in red, but we also now have the slug area defined, outlined in a blue line at the top and bottom of the document. In the master pages, you're going to right-click the A master page and choose Master Options. Rename this Outside, and for number of pages, change to 3 and select OK. Double-click the master page then to open that up, and you'll now see that you have 3 pages defined with the bleed going around the outside and the slug area covering all 3 of those. The bleed area is going to surround the entire spread because each page is butting up against the other one. With your selection tool, click inside the left panel to make that active. We don't have another text frame that is considered a primary, so you're going to clone the text frame and drag it to the right. So hold down your Alt key and drag over. Do the same thing to the next panel. You should now have 3 text frames. In the tool panel, select the page tool and then click on the left page to select it. In the control panel, choose Object Based in the Liquid Page Rule menu. That's this one. Choose the right center reference point, and for the width, subtract 1/8 of an inch. The margins are still 1/4 of an inch from the adjusted page edges. We activated object-based liquid page rules, so the text frame adjusted and it remains snapped to the margins. Now that we have our pages properly formatted, we're going to work up in the top in the slug area and put in some text. Deselect everything and pick up your text tool and put a text box in the slug area above the bleed, and you're going to type in outside left panel fold in, and then center that. With this selected, you're going to go up to Window, Output, Attributes, and you want to make this item non-printing. Then right-click and deselect Allow Master Item Overrides. We need to make sure that this stays as it is. Then hold down your Alt key, click and drag and create a duplicate of that. Put that over the center panel and change the name of that to Outside Center, which is the mailing area, and clone that item again. And this is going to be outside right, which is the front. We're going to put some guidelines in for creating the folds. So with the line tool, you can click and drag up to create a line. Make that line a dashed line at a half a point, and in the options you're going to make that a 3-point with a 3-point gap. Or using the control panel, make sure that it is indeed at the 3.875 mark, and right click on it and toggle off the Allow Master Item Overrides again, and then clone the line and set that so that it is at the X point 7.875, which will pop that right in place where it needs to be. Zooming out to see the whole thing, or maybe out a little bit farther, we're going to pick up both of those lines and we can clone them. Hold down your Alt key and your Shift and bring them down and place them right below the lines. So now you've got your fold lines in both locations. We're going to add some text variables to the bottom of our layout for our master pages. We're going to create a new text frame. This is going below the first panel with the insertion point flashing. Go to Type, Text Variables, Insert Variable, File Name. Give it a space, put in a slash, and type in Modified, and a colon, a space, and again you're going to go to Text Variables, Insert Variable, and this is going to be Modification Date. That's going to put in a running total for each time that the file gets updated and saved. And if you can't see all of that, expand the text box out so it's visible. You can deselect everything and go to Type, Text Variables, and Define. You're going to make a new variable and name it Project Status, and in the type you're going to create custom text. In the text field you're going to select ellipsis and then put in an insertion point after that code, a space, and then Work in Progress. Click OK and done. Create another text frame, this time below the right panel, type in project status, space, and go to type, and we're going to put in another text variable, insert variable, and this time we're going to select project status. The variable text is placed right after the space. With your selection tool, zoom out so that you can see both of these text boxes. Select both of them and right click and deselect that Allow Master Item Override again, and then you can save. You're going to right click the A master page and you're going to duplicate. Right click the B master and choose the master options. You're going to rename this Inside, and say OK, and zoom out so that you can see everything. We've just duplicated so all of the spreads, everything is the same. We're going to pick up the page tool because we have to move some things around. Remember, this page, which is was our outside left panel, is narrower, and that's going to have to be shuffled. In the control panel, you're going to select the Objects Move with Page option. Click on the panel, click a second time just on the page outside of the text frame, and you're going to get a blue outline and drag that over so that you can drop that right next to the original layout. And you're going to see that all of this stuff moves. So you now have an outside left panel fold in. So we're going to have to fix all of this. But now that narrow panel has now moved to being on the right. So we're just simply going to have to rename this stuff. So the left page now becomes Inside Left, which we can then drop the mail area off of. The center panel becomes Inside Center instead of Outside Right. And our right page becomes, instead of Outside Left Panel, Fold In. You can leave the fold in and name this Inside Right. Choose the selection tool, deselect everything. Click to select the slug guide over the right edge of the right page. The folding guide that was over the right page edge is still over the right page edge, and that's incorrect. So we're going to need to put that over the line between the center and the right pages. It did the same thing on the bottom. So we'll need to grab both of those so you can click and drag those over. Just hold down your Shift key and place those in the correct position. For the bottom slug area, drag the text frame with the file name and the modification date below the left page, and drag the project status below the right page. Click the A outside master page name to select the whole spread, pull it down and place it below page 1, and then select page 1 and click on the trash and delete it. Drag the B inside down below the outside. Double click the spread for the pages 1 through 3 to open them. Go to View, Fit Spread in Window,